Hi, folks. I hope you're well. So, basically, nearly everyone thinks the way they think is right. Okay? How do we know that? Or is that really true? Hmm. The problem is, if you knew the way you think is wrong, you would change the way you think, wouldn't you? You would if you could, wouldn't you? Well, the problem is, the question, wouldn't you, is wrong. Because, yeah, the truth is, most people wouldn't do it, would they? Well, as I said, changing is very hard to do. It's not easy. As I said before, that's why they say, yeah, you can't change your spots. Hmm? Well, when they say leopards can't change their spots, well, that's true. They can't, but God can. And that's the point in all these things, God can. The problem is, there's so many people who already know, already in their understanding, they know that the way the church is doing things is wrong. They know that they should try and do something about it. They know they could try and do something about it, but they won't. They're hoping that God will do something about it. Revival, that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. But they won't happen at all. Well, most places, no chance at all. No. Because it's completely up to you to do it. Yeah. That is the situation. Again, when you try to walk in God's way, so if you're in a church and you're a leader and you know how the church is doing things is wrong, okay? And you try to do something about it in God's way, God will meet you. Yeah. But again, the problem is people don't really know that. They think that's probably true, but do they know it? No. And again, if you are a leader in a church and you try to change things because you know things are wrong, if it doesn't work, what's going to happen? You will be sacked as a leader. Of course you will. And the problem is, again, people love being a leader, don't they? Well, some of them do, yes. Well, most of them do. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it, would they? Really? Even though some of them really hate being a leader, and they do it because they think if they don't do it, the church will be closed. Yes? And is that true? No. No. In most cases, the answer is no. That's not true at all. Because if you won't do it, someone else will stand up and do it. Maybe someone who's doing other things as a leader would do what you're doing. So therefore, yeah, because the church, yeah, That one near me. Yeah, what's it called? Community Church of God, or Rick. The last pastor thought he had to do everything, right? And for a long time, he loved it because people loved him. People were actually worship him because basically he was doing everything. Yeah, people loved it because they didn't have to do anything because he was doing basically everything, and they loved him completely in that church. And he loved it for a lot of time until it was hurting his body and health. Yeah. Yeah. The truth is, changing is really hard. Again, my journey, yeah. The truth is, okay, I did that song 26 years ago. Yeah. Shape me, break me, make me. Okay. If I knew what that means at that time, would I ask God at that time to do that? Yeah, that's a good question. The answer is I don't know. Probably no. Probably no. Because, yeah, changing is really hard and being broken, even being shaken, you know, yeah, shaking, breaking, making. So, yeah, being shaken is not easy. Breaking is bloody hard. Making, again, is really hard. That's not easy. Well, as God said to me, if you were a garden and you had feelings and you're being made, then basically digging into you to put a tree in you or flowers in you, every time you're being digging into, that would really hurt. And that's true about being making. It's like that. It hurts. All of that journey was difficult. All of it. But I didn't know when I asked. No. Every time something was going to happen, did I know? Nope. I never knew. So was I actually deciding what's going to happen? No. If God tell me, you know, if He told me, yeah, when I was still in England and thinking, go to Scotland. If God tell me, okay, you'll be homeless, and when you're homeless, I'm going to tell you about your depression, and you've been fighting depression since you were a kid, and therefore depression will be completely in you at that time and be worse than it has been all that time for all those years. It'd be completely worse. Would I go to Scotland from England? Sod that. No. No chance at all would I have done that. No, that'd be mad. So as I say, basically, choosing to change is it's not easy at all. And again, that's the reason I'm not judging people at all for that. Not at all. And because again, I'm saying, for me, I didn't know. I didn't really choose. Well, I did choose, but I didn't know what I was choosing, did I? And again, a lot of people understand, when you choose, you don't know what's going to happen about changing, do you? As I said before, it's that situation. If it doesn't work, you'll be sacked. If it does work, then, it'd be blinking hard. It will be. If it works, it'll be hard. If it doesn't work, it'll be hard. So staying as you are is easier, isn't it, really? And that's why people stay where they are and stay as they are, because it's easier. And I understand it. As I say, I'm not judging people because I understand why people choose that. And I said, if I knew what was going to happen, I would choose that. Probably. Yeah, probably. But thankfully, I didn't know. Yeah. As I said, basically, the journey has been really hard, but yeah. Well, as I said, basically, how many years ago? Well, as I said, my friend Rob said to me years ago, there's so many people who want to be friends with you. And but where you are right now is not good. And they're waiting for that to change. And when it changes, then yeah. And I said to him, no, tell them no. Tell them, sod it. If they can't be friends with me now when I'm going through this crap and I'm hurting, then yeah. When everything is done, no chance at all. Tell them no. I don't want them. They shouldn't be friends with people at all. If they think basically when it's hard for them to be a friend, then yeah, no. My journey was bloody hard. And most of the time I was alone completely. Completely alone. As a human, yes. I had God, yes. But even that, I was learning. I didn't know. I had to learn. And that took a long blinking time. Because again, we are humans. And when you're hurt, basically your soul is bigger than your spirit. So understanding God and God's way at that time, no, because you need your spirit to be bigger. You need your spirit to be the leader over your soul. But that wasn't the situation at that time. So, having God, most of the time I didn't know I had God at that time. No. I had songs, the song list was, those songs were difficult. But those songs were talking about, going through the valley, and difficult things. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, I've been there in that incredibly difficult, in that agony. I've been there. And yeah, as I said, it is true. If I knew about all of that, would I choose to go through that? Well, unless I was completely mad, the answer would be no, wouldn't it, really? So that's the point. When I say I don't judge people, if they want to stay as they are and the church will stay as it is because it's easier, I understand it. And I understand why, you know, if people want a safe church, a comfortable church, I understand it. I don't judge people for that. Because, of course, comfort, oh, yes. I would love comfort. I would love a place that, I could have hot water, heating. Well, log fire would be beautiful. Sauna would be beautiful to have. In my own place, that would be lovely. To have all of that. To have a barn as well, that when it's raining, I could play with the dogs inside in a barn, which would be bigger, so I can whack the ball for them. That'd be beautiful. All of that would be gorgeous. Do I really think I'm going to have all that? Is it possible for God? Yes. But is God going to do it? Probably not. No. But for all these years, for the last, for at least the last 5 years, I've been believing that God will actually do that. Because I know He can. Absolutely, I know He can. And because, would I want a safe place and comfortable place? Yeah, because I've gone through so much that, of course, I would want that. Would I want a lovely wife who's in love with God and will love people and could cook lovely food and, do all that sort of stuff and will understand me and will love me because who I am? Of course I would. Yes. Do I think I'm going to get it? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, anything's possible with God. But again, I've been believing all this since, before 2021. I thought I met her in 2021, then found out that she was married. And that was the last break-in I had. Having that understanding that maybe my relationship with God is broken because of that. I just lost the dogs, which was, a break-in. Losing my family, that was a massive fear. So at that time, I went through my worst fears. And so again, yes. Would I want to be comfortable? Yes. Would I want a place that would be beautiful? And basically, would I love to have a place that is pointing to God and proving that what God has been telling me is true? Of course. But do I think that's going to happen? I think it could happen, yes. I think some of that will happen. But again, I also understand that maybe that's what I don't need that, maybe. And maybe what I need, Because again, do we know what's going to happen in 5 years and where we will be? The answer is no. And maybe I need a place that will actually help me to go through what I need to go through in 5 years' time. And therefore, I have to trust the one who can see the big picture. And I have to trust the big picture, even though I can't see it. And again, it's not easy. But if God says to me in the future He needs me to change in certain ways, okay, that's fine. I've gone through so much change and I know I will survive it. I know. But it's only because I've been through it. So I don't judge those who don't believe it.